The vast expanse of space stretched endlessly before the UES Pathfinder, its sleek hull reflecting the distant starlight as it patrolled the outer reaches of human territory. Dr. Marcus Rivera stood at the observation deck, his weathered face illuminated by the soft glow of holographic displays. 20 years of deep space exploration hadn't dulled his sense of wonder, but today something felt different. Doctor, we're picking up unusual energy signatures from Sector 793, Lieutenant Frost reported, her fingers dancing across the control panel. It's unlike anything in our database. Marcus approached the main console, adjusting his worn research glasses. The Kraxan Empire had pushed humanity to the brink over the past 3 years, their superior technology and ruthless efficiency destroying colony after colony. Every patrol could be their last, but survival meant taking risks. "Show me the readings," he commanded, studying the complex patterns that appeared before him. The energy signature pulsed with an otherworldly rhythm defying conventional physics. This isn't Kraxan technology, the pattern is too organic. Captain Jun Park joined them at the console, his military bearing a sharp contrast to Marcus's scholarly demeanor. Could it be a trap? The Kraxan are known for their deception. Marcus shook his head, pointing to specific wavelength patterns. No, this technology predates the Kraxan by centuries, maybe millennia. Whatever we're detecting, it's been out here for a very long time. The decision weighed heavily on Captain Park. Standard protocol demanded they report unusual findings to command, but with the Kraxan pushing deeper into human space every day, they couldn't afford to wait for bureaucracy. "Take us in, Lieutenant, but keep our shields at maximum. If anything so much as twitches wrong, we're jumping out." As the Pathfinder approached the source of the readings, they encountered a sight that left even the most seasoned crew members speechless. A massive field of debris stretched before them, but this was no ordinary space junkyard. The fragments gleamed with an inner light, pieces of technology that seemed to pulse with residual power despite their apparent age. "Launch the survey drones," Marcus ordered, his voice trembling with excitement. "Full spectrum analysis and make sure to record everything." The drones scattered across the debris field, their sensors probing the mysterious technology. Data streamed back to the Pathfinder, painting a picture that grew more extraordinary with each passing moment. "These aren't just random pieces of tech," Marcus muttered, his eyes wide as he analyzed the incoming data. "They're components of something larger, something incredible. The molecular structure is unlike anything we've ever seen. It's as if the material itself is alive." Lieutenant Frost's console suddenly lit up with new readings. "Doctor, the pieces are reacting to our scan beams. They're reshaping themselves." The crew watched in amazement as several fragments began to shift and flow like liquid metal, responding to the energy from their scanners. Captain Park stepped forward, his expression a mixture of awe and concern. "Can we contain these safely?" Marcus nodded slowly, his mind already racing with possibilities. "Yes, but we'll need to modify our cargo holds with electromagnetic containment fields. This could change everything." Over the next several hours, the crew carefully collected samples of the mysterious technology, each piece secured in specially modified containment units. Marcus worked tirelessly, documenting every detail, every unusual property they observed. "The Kraxan think they're superior because their technology outmatches ours," he said to Captain Park as they watched another piece of the alien tech react to their tests. "But they've become complacent, relying on the same advances they've had for generations. This is something entirely different, something they won't expect." Captain Park studied the shimmering metal in the containment field. "You think we can weaponize it?" "Better," Marcus replied, his eyes gleaming with possibility. "I think we can understand it, integrate it, evolve it. The Kraxan may have better technology, but humans have always excelled at taking existing tech and reimagining its potential. We don't just use tools, we transform them." As the Pathfinder prepared to return to Earth's hidden research facility, Deep Haven, Marcus couldn't help but feel that they'd discovered more than just advanced technology. They'd found hope. The Kraxan Empire had pushed humanity to the edge of extinction, believing them to be primitive and predictable. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology. It was their ability to adapt, innovate, and transform the very rules of what was possible. The journey back would be dangerous, but the precious cargo they carried could be the key to humanity's survival. As Marcus watched the debris field fade from view, he knew that the real work was just beginning. The race to unlock the secrets of this ancient technology would push human ingenuity to its limits, but failure wasn't an option. The future of their species depended on what they could create from these mysterious remnants of a long-lost civilization. Deep Haven sprawled through the heart of an asteroid, its existence hidden from even most of Earth's military. Dr. Olivia Zhang stood in the central laboratory, surrounded by holographic displays showing the molecular structure of the alien technology. 3 weeks had passed since the Pathfinder's discovery, and every day brought new revelations. The material doesn't just respond to energy, she explained to the assembled team of scientists and military officials. It remembers. Every piece contains encoded information about its original purpose, like DNA carrying genetic instructions. Commander Victor Ramirez, the facility's military overseer, leaned forward. Can we decode these instructions? Olivia gestured to a floating display where a piece of the alien metal twisted and reformed itself under controlled energy pulses. We're already doing it. Dr. Rivera's initial findings were just the beginning. This technology wasn't abandoned, it was archived. The entire debris field is essentially a library of advanced technological knowledge, stored in the most secure way possible, within the very structure of the material itself. The room fell silent as implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just found advanced technology, they'd discovered the accumulated knowledge of an ancient civilization. Dr. Kai Patel, the team's quantum mechanics expert, stepped forward to manipulate one of the displays. Watch this, he said, adjusting the energy field surrounding a sample. The metal responded instantly, flowing like liquid before reforming into a complex geometric pattern. Each piece contains different information. Some appear to be weapon systems, others are propulsion technologies, and we've barely scratched the surface. Commander Ramirez frowned. The Kraxen have pushed past our outer colonies. We don't have time to study every piece. We need something we can use now. Olivia nodded, pulling up a new set of schematics. That's why we're focusing on this particular sample. It contains information about an adaptive defense system, something far beyond current Kraxen technology. But we're not just going to copy it, we're going to improve it. The next display showed a prototype vessel taking shape in Deep Haven's secured manufacturing bay. Unlike traditional human ships with their rigid hulls and fixed weapon systems, this design was fluid, organic. The ship's surface rippled with potential energy, ready to adapt to any threat. Project Phoenix, Olivia announced. A ship that can evolve during combat, learning from each attack and becoming stronger. The original civilization used this technology defensively, but we're pushing it further. The Kraxen won't be expecting a ship that can turn their own weapons against them. Dr. Patel brought up another display showing simulated combat scenarios. The adaptive hull doesn't just absorb energy weapons, it analyzes them, learns from them, and can redirect that energy in new ways. Each attack makes the ship stronger, more capable. How long until we have a working prototype? Commander Ramirez asked, his eyes fixed on the simulation. 2 weeks for the initial test vessel, Olivia replied. We've already begun programming the base molecular structure. The ship essentially builds itself, we just have to guide the process. As if to emphasize her point, a sudden alert drew everyone's attention to the manufacturing bay feeds. The prototype's hull was pulsing with intense energy, its surface flowing like quicksilver as new structures emerged and integrated themselves. It's happening faster than we predicted, Dr. Patel observed, quickly adjusting his readings. The material isn't just accepting our modifications, it's optimizing them, suggesting improvements to our designs through its own evolutionary processes. Commander Ramirez watched the prototype's transformation with a mixture of awe and concern. Can we control it? The last thing we need is technology that evolves beyond our ability to manage it. Olivia smiled confidently. That's the beautiful part. The original civilization built safeguards into the very foundation of the technology. It can't evolve beyond certain parameters without human guidance. They created it to be a partner in development, not a replacement for organic intelligence. The team worked tirelessly over the following days, guiding the prototype's evolution while learning from each unexpected development. The ship grew more sophisticated, its systems more integrated, until it barely resembled the original design. This wasn't just adapted alien technology, it was something new, a hybrid of ancient knowledge and human innovation. The Kraxen believe they've pushed us to the brink, Olivia said to Commander Ramirez as they watched the prototype performing its first power tests. They think they understand human nature that will eventually break under enough pressure, but they've never truly grasped our greatest strength. Which is, Ramirez asked, though his slight smile suggested he already knew the answer. We don't just survive adversity, we transform it into opportunity. Every defeat becomes a lesson, every setback a chance to evolve. The Kraxen's greatest mistake was giving us no choice but to surpass them. As the prototype's hull shimmered with untapped potential, Olivia couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Humanity hadn't just found a weapon, they'd discovered a new path forward, one that would redefine their place in the galaxy. The real question wasn't whether they could master this technology, it was whether the Kraxen Empire was prepared for what humanity would become. The prototype vessel Phoenix hung in the darkness of space, its adaptive hull reflecting starlight in ways that made it seem almost invisible. Captain Nadia Chen stood on the bridge, her hand resting on the newly designed control interface that pulsed with the same ethereal energy as the ship's hull. "Status report," she commanded, watching as her crew worked at stations that were more organic than mechanical, interfaces that responded to thought as much as touch. "All systems optimal," Lieutenant Jackson reported from the tactical station. "The adaptive matrix is fully charged and responsive. We're as ready as we'll ever be." They'd been tracking a Kraxen battle group for the past 12 hours, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal humanity's new weapon. The enemy fleet had been systematically destroying human outposts along the Perseus Arm, growing more confident with each victory. "Three Kraxen warships detected entering the sector," announced Chief Tors from sensors. "Standard attack formation, they haven't spotted us yet." Nadia took a deep breath. Everything they'd worked for came down to this moment. Begin approach sequence. Keep us in their sensor shadow until we're in optimal range. The Phoenix moved with unprecedented grace, its hull automatically adjusting to minimize detection. Dr. Zhang's team had outdone themselves. The ship wasn't just a vessel, it was a living weapon that anticipated its crew's needs. Captain Jackson's voice was tense. "They've detected us. Kraxen vessels are moving to engage." A smile touched Nadia's lips. "Good, let's show them what humanity is capable of." Battle stations. The Kraxen ships responded with their typical arrogance, launching a full barrage of energy weapons without bothering to assess their new opponent. The space between vessels lit up with destructive force that would have vaporized any normal ship. But the Phoenix was far from normal. The alien weapon struck the adaptive hull and simply vanished. The ship's surface rippled like water, absorbing the massive energy attack. Status displays showed power levels rising rapidly as the hull analyzed and integrated the enemy weapon's signatures. "Energy absorption at 120% of projected capacity," Jackson reported, excitement breaking through his professional demeanor. "The hull is actually improving its efficiency in real time." The Kraxen ships paused their attack, clearly confused by the lack of damage. Nadia's smile widened. "They've never had to fight something that gets stronger when they shoot it. Signal all stations, execute attack pattern Delta." The Phoenix surged forward, its hull now glowing with stored energy. As they closed distance, the ship began to change. Weapon ports emerged and shifted position, the entire vessel restructuring itself for optimal combat performance. The Kraxen resumed firing, but each shot only made the Phoenix more formidable. "Multiple target solutions available," Jackson announced. "The hull has fully analyzed their weapon signatures and developed countermeasures." "Return fire," Nadia ordered. "Show them what their own weapons feel like when properly evolved." The Phoenix released its stored energy in a devastating display of power. Beams of concentrated force struck the nearest Kraxen vessel, but these weren't simple reflected shots. The ship had enhanced the enemy's weapon signatures, improving their efficiency while exploiting weaknesses in Kraxen's shield design. The lead enemy vessel's shields collapsed instantly, its hull buckling under forces it was never designed to withstand. The remaining Kraxen ships attempted to regroup, but the Phoenix was already moving, its form shifting again to optimize for the new tactical situation. "Second target locked," Jackson called out. "Hull adaptation continuing to improve weapon efficiency. We're now operating at 150% of initial combat parameters." The second Kraxen ship fell quickly, its advanced technology proving useless against weapons that evolved faster than their defenses could adapt. The third vessel, witnessing the unprecedented destruction of its companions, attempted to retreat. "Oh no you don't," Nadia muttered. "They need to understand what they're dealing with now. Pursuit course. Let's make sure they can report back to their commanders exactly what happened here." The Phoenix's hull shifted once more, streamlining itself for high-speed chase. They caught the fleeing vessel easily, disabling its engines with precisely calculated shots. As the Kraxon ship drifted powerless in space, Nadia opened a communication channel. "This is Captain Nadia Chen of the UES Phoenix," she broadcast. "Let this serve as humanity's answer to your empire's aggression. You believed us primitive, incapable of matching your technological superiority. You were wrong. For every world you've destroyed, for every colony you've attacked, we've grown stronger. We don't just adapt, we evolve." She paused, letting the message sink in. "Return to your leaders, tell them what you witnessed here, tell them that humanity is done retreating. The next phase of this war begins now." As the damaged Kraxon vessel limped away, Nadia turned to her crew. Their faces showed the same mix of pride and determination she felt. They'd just proven that humanity could not only stand against the Kraxon Empire, but defeat them decisively. "Send word to Deep Haven," she ordered. "Operation Phoenix was a complete success. Tell them to begin full production immediately." She looked out at the debris field that had once been two of the most advanced warships in the galaxy. The Kraxon thought they were pushing us toward extinction. Instead, they forced us to become something new, something better, and this is just the beginning. Deep Haven had transformed. What began as a secret research facility now sprawled throughout the entire asteroid, its halls filled with shimmering adaptive technology. Dr. Olivia Zhang walked through the newly constructed integration chamber, watching as researchers worked with materials that seemed to dance between solid and liquid states. "The applications go far beyond weapons," she explained to Admiral Richard Thorne, who had arrived to witness their latest breakthrough. "Every piece of technology we recover from the debris field contains new possibilities. The Kraxon's attack on the Perseus colonies last month, their ships were driven back by automated defense platforms that evolved new countermeasures mid-battle." The Admiral nodded, his weathered face reflecting the ethereal light of a nearby fabrication station. "I've read the reports. 3 Kraxon dreadnoughts couldn't breach the defensive line of a single mining outpost, but I'm more interested in what you've discovered about non-military applications." Olivia's eyes lit up. She led him to a sealed chamber where several researchers worked with smaller pieces of the adaptive material. "Watch this," she said, activating a display. Inside the chamber, a piece of the material formed itself into a complex medical device, its structure shifting to respond to the patient's specific needs. "The material doesn't just remember its original purpose," she explained. "It learns, adapts, and improves itself based on new information. We've begun implementing this technology in medical facilities across our remaining colonies. Surgical tools that adjust in real time, prosthetics that grow and adapt with the user, even environmental systems that evolve to maintain optimal conditions without external control." Dr. Kai Patel joined them, his tablet displaying streams of data from ongoing experiments. "The breakthrough came when we stopped thinking of the material as just a weapon or a tool. It's more like a universal adaptive system. Every piece contains the basic principles of evolution and improvement." "Show him the Genesis project," Olivia suggested, leading them to another section of the facility. The Genesis chamber was massive, its walls lined with containers of the shimmering material. In the center, a holographic display showed a barren planetary surface slowly transforming into a habitable environment. "We've learned to program the material to terraform hostile environments," Kai explained. "It analyzes conditions, adapts its structure to optimize resources, and gradually transforms the environment to support life. The process that would have taken centuries using conventional methods can now be accomplished in months." Admiral Thorne watched the simulation with growing amazement. "You're not just creating weapons to fight the Kraxon, you're developing technology that could reshape the galaxy itself." "Exactly," Olivia confirmed. "The Phoenix ships were just the beginning. We're now capable of things the Kraxon never imagined possible. Their rigid technological hierarchy, their belief in their own superiority, it's becoming their greatest weakness." A sudden alert drew their attention to one of the research stations. A young scientist named Dr. Hassan was working with a particularly reactive sample of the material. As they watched, the piece began to form complex crystalline structures that emitted pulses of energy. "It's happening again," Hassan called out excitedly. "The material is suggesting new configurations we never programmed. It's like it's trying to teach us." Olivia quickly moved to the station, studying the readings. "This is why we're advancing so quickly. The material doesn't just accept our modifications, it offers improvements, shows us possibilities we haven't considered. It's a true partnership between human creativity and advanced technology. And the Kraxen, Admiral Thorne asked, how are they responding to these developments? They're struggling to adapt, Kai replied. Their entire society is built on technological superiority, on the belief that their understanding of the universe is supreme. Our ability to not just match but exceed their capabilities in such a short time has shaken their confidence. Olivia pulled up a strategic display showing recent battle data. Their attacks have become more desperate, less coordinated. They're trying to overwhelm us with brute force because they don't know how to counter technology that evolves during combat. But each attack only makes our defenses stronger. We're not just winning battles, she continued, her voice filled with quiet confidence. We're revolutionizing how humanity interacts with technology itself. The Kraxens see technology as a tool to be controlled. We've learned to see it as a partner in evolution. Admiral Thorne studied the various projects underway throughout the facility. How long until we can take the offensive? The refugee camps on Europa are still overcrowded, and we have colonies waiting to be reclaimed. We're ready now, Olivia assured him. The new Genesis ships will launch next week. They're not just warships, they're mobile restoration platforms. As we push the Kraxen back, we can immediately begin rehabilitating the worlds they've damaged. This isn't just about winning a war anymore. It's about building a future they never imagined possible. As if to emphasize her point, the crystalline structure in Hassan's lab pulsed with new energy, its form suggesting yet another innovation. Humanity wasn't just adapting alien technology, they were participating in a technological evolution that would reshape their understanding of what was possible. The Kraxen had sought to exterminate what they saw as a primitive species. Instead, they had catalyzed humanity's greatest leap forward. The massive fleet of Genesis ships emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Kraxen home system, their adaptive hulls rippling with barely contained energy. On the bridge of the flagship Ascendant, Fleet Admiral Nadia Chen, promoted after her historic first victory in the Phoenix, watched as final battle preparations were made. All ships reporting ready, Lieutenant Commander Jackson announced from his tactical station. Adaptive systems are fully integrated across the fleet. The Genesis protocols are primed and awaiting deployment. The Kraxen defense fleet was already moving to intercept them, thousands of ships arranged in rigid formation patterns that hadn't changed in centuries. Their arrogance had become their vulnerability, an inability to imagine that their perfect systems could be overcome. Open a channel to all ships, Nadia ordered, both ours and theirs. She stood tall, her voice clear and resolute as she addressed both fleets. This is Fleet Admiral Chen of the United Earth Fleet. To the Kraxen Empire, we are not here to destroy you. That was your goal for us, not ours. We're here to end this war and show you a different path forward. The Kraxen response came swiftly, a barrage of energy weapons that lit up space like an artificial sun. But the Genesis ships didn't evade. Their hulls awakened, absorbing the massive energy attack and using it to power their transformation. All ships execute Evolution Protocol Omega, Nadia commanded. Show them what humanity has become. The Genesis fleet began to change. Ships merged and separated, forming new configurations that defied conventional space combat logic. Some vessels transformed into massive energy collection arrays, while others became living shields that adapted to each new weapon signature. It was a display of technological mastery that the galaxy had never witnessed. In the heart of the Ascendant, Dr. Olivia Zhang monitored the fleet's adaptive systems. The collective evolution is stable, she reported. Each ship is learning from the others, sharing improvements across the network. The Kraxen's attacks are only making us stronger. The Kraxen fleet's rigid formations began to break as their weapons proved not just ineffective but counterproductive. Each shot they fired was absorbed, analyzed, and used to improve the Genesis ship's capabilities. But humanity's response wasn't purely military. Begin Phase 2, Nadia ordered, deploy the Genesis seeds. Thousands of small pods launched from the Earth fleet, slipping past the Kraxen defenses. These weren't weapons, they contained the adaptive material programmed for environmental restoration. As they reached the damaged outer planets of the Kraxen system, they began their work, transforming barren worlds into habitable environments. Let them see, Nadia broadcast. Watch as we restore the worlds your industry has destroyed. This technology doesn't just destroy, it creates, it heals, it evolves. This is what you never understood about humanity. We don't just survive, we transform adversity into opportunity. On the Kraxan command channels, confusion turned to disbelief as reports came in from their outer colonies. Worlds they had stripped bare for resources were coming alive again. The Genesis technology wasn't just revering the damage, it was creating new possibilities better than before. Incoming transmission from the Kraxan High Command, Jackson reported. The image of Supreme Commander Vexthor appeared on the main screen, his crystalline features showing an emotion rarely seen in Kraxan leadership: uncertainty. Your species continues to defy our understanding, he stated. Our weapons make you stronger, our defenses prove useless, and now you demonstrate power not to destroy but to restore. We learned from the ancient civilization that created this technology, Nadia replied. They didn't fall or go extinct, they evolved beyond the need for conflict. The debris field we found wasn't wreckage, it was a library left for species ready to take the next step. The question is, are you ready to evolve with us? Hours later, in the Grand Chamber of the Kraxan High Council, human and Kraxan leaders gathered to sign an unprecedented agreement. The war was over, but it was more than just a peace treaty. It was a commitment to shared evolution, to using the adaptive technology not for dominance but for transformation. Dr. Zhang stood with Admiral Chen, watching as the agreement was formalized. They never understood that true power isn't about destruction, Olivia observed. It's about adaptation, growth, transformation. They do now, Nadia replied, seeing how the Kraxan leaders were already studying the Genesis technology with new eyes. Sometimes it takes showing someone a better path to end a conflict. As the ceremony concluded, news spread across the galaxy. Humanity hadn't just survived an extinction-level threat, they had transformed it into an opportunity for universal advancement. The adaptive technology would reshape worlds, heal environmental damage, and push the boundaries of what was possible. Ready to head home? Nadia asked as they boarded the Ascendant. Olivia smiled, watching the ship's hull ripple with familiar energy. Home is just the beginning, we've got a galaxy to help evolve. The Genesis fleet departed the Kraxan system, leaving behind not conquest but possibility. From a scattered debris field of forgotten technology, humanity had forged not just their salvation but a new future for all species willing to embrace change. The age of rigid hierarchies and technological stagnation was over. The era of endless evolution had begun.